Alright, so I'm going to do kind of a video overview of my thoughts and what I did. So in the description it has the mods I did. So that's the pickups, Dimarzio Injector Neck and the bridge. I did put a base plate on it. Now the difference wasn't massive, and unfortunately it didn't really fatten up the plain strings, but it did add like punch to the wound strings. The middle pickup is a Fleor, that's Fleor, alnico 5 pickup. It was a neck model, but it's south pole facing up, so that's why it works good with these two north pole facing up magnets for pickups. And I used this on one of my previous Strats in the neck position, and it always sounded phenomenal. And I think it sounds quite good. I'm not entirely committed to it yet, but I may go completely noiseless. Neck is supposedly, based on the pickup lot of things I purchased on Amazon, that'd be cool, but eBay, a Fender custom shop, and it would be a 50s wound, and due to the stagger and different things, I can't say emphatically it is, but it is quite similar. It has that lacquered or whatever base plate, so it's different than most of anything I've ever messed with or had the privilege of doing work on guitars and whatnot. Now I changed the volume to a 250K pot because for whatever reason the pots in this are 500K. They were full size. They're actually good pots. I would use them in another project or as a backup to, a quick fix if needed. I forgot to put that I put the input jack, a different input jack. This is a pure tone. I had it, so I used it just so that I never have to worry about input locking washer. Gold hardware, obviously. Got this Wilkinson, I believe it's WV2SB. It is, let's see if you can see that, a two-point trem, but it's made in such a way that you can actually use it with screws, and that's how I have it mounted, so I didn't have to modify the body at all. And it comes with a solid block, which is nice. And I did the Eric Johnson thing, so there's no back plate, which I've always kind of did, and then I came across, I'm like, oh, someone else. But I did the 4 springs in the way that he prefers. He does it for tonal reasons. I haven't really done a bunch of trem work. I'm not a huge tremolo user. Now, mint covers on this, gold miniature metal knobs, and these are from a concentric set, which is good because when you use it on a split shaft like this, it's pretty decently snug without anything. You could probably put electrical tape in it, not have to tighten it down, but you just lightly tighten it so that you don't crush the spines and whatnot. And a gold little knob, gold screws, all from an older guitar that's a little more worn, so they're not as shiny. And worked on the nut. It's not 100% there. Now the actual cut of the slots is perfect, but just shaping it so it looks a little extra nice. Tuners are the Tone Ninja staggered gold locking tuners, which are made by Jin Ho, which historically people would seek out vintage Jin Ho tuners for various reasons. They're very nice. And these are actually better than Geiger and whatnot. Now they're like $10 to $20 more depending on what tier of Geiger or Kaish or Music Lily or whatnot. But they're great. I had them on a different guitar that I'm going a different route with. There's Dunlop Strap locks on here, the traditional, so you can use a normal strap if you needed to in a pinch. Inside the cavity and the entire pickguard is completely shielded. And to help, also I have shielding on the back of the pull pieces on both of these pickups, and there is technically here, but there's also a base plate. And then I tested not using solder and a lead wire, but using the really thin copper shielding that I bought for this project, and it worked the same. so I didn't have to solder. So it's not modified in that capacity. Not that that makes much a difference if you do it right and safely. Take your time. Now, with the shielding, I usually use flashing tape that has a conductive adhesive, and it deadened this guitar, and it's lively, so I purchased something different. I'll probably use it more just because it makes more sense, but if you're in a pinch and can't, use the flashing. And for some reason it's not conductive, you can solder joint it to get it, but that's a lot of work. So this copper shielding didn't really deaden it at all, so it works great. And that's kind of my mods. Now the neck plate is still the silver one because I didn't buy a replacement. I'm probably not going to take the neck off because I don't like to do that unless I have to. It sounds good as is, and it's nice and tight in the pocket, so I don't need to do anything. My approach was to get a fatter but still twangy bridge pickup, which this accomplishes. I wish, and I may still be able to find a Jimi Hendrix style, meaning a reverse slant rear pickup, just so that the treble strings have just a little bit more fatness, and I think it would sound really good. Now, this is the neck injector, so that's not superly common, and when I do a actual demo where I have a direct route where it has a more professional or high quality sound quality, you'll be able to really hear it more. You get an idea, but like most things with a cell phone camera, there's limits to how good it can be. And these pickups balance quite well, which was a surprise. The floor does not come with beveled edges, so in the middle position it could be a little annoying catching the pick. The main issue I have is when I had in the neck pickup, I actually heated up the wax lightly and moved the pull pieces to a better stagger for balancing that guitar. And the D is raised probably just a little too much. So I may heat that up and lower it if I decide to keep that in here. Otherwise, I'll probably put something else in, maybe a Dimarzio Area 61 in the middle with a 58 in the neck. I might put a Mojo Tone, 58 or 57, I can't remember what they do for their thing, but it's the 50s Mojo Tone quiet coil in the neck. And in the middle, I typically like the lipstick tubes for a unique tone, and it's really good because when you're picking, it doesn't really get in the way the same. Even if you raise it all the way up, it just doesn't have that rough edge because it's all rounded. So ideally, whether it's something I do to this or the next pickup, I want it to be flush as possible with the pickup cover. That way it's just less edges and things to catch. Now you can always play around it, but I play a lot of Tele guitar and ES335 for many years, even though I started on a Strat and played Strat for the most part. So I could still kind of work around it, but I rather just have that extra level, and I think it would balance really well for this 12-inch radius guitar. Luckily, I haven't ran into balance issues with this vintage stagger on the neck pickup, but it really did help shielding this. It's a great guitar. Hopefully I didn't go too long. I wanted to keep this under 10 minutes, and it's still a lot of talking for 10 minutes. If there's something you want to know about the guitar or some ideas you have for it, hey, I'm all ears, but I hope you have a blessed day, and until next time.